Discover cowrie shell divination, ancient wisdom at your fingertips. You set the shells, I decode your answers, love, career, and more. We've got the guidance you seek. Tap into shamanic roots, uncover your inner energy, chase your dreams. Learn from the wisdom of tribal mystics, bridging the gap to your potential. Supercharge your experience with us. Book now at tonyad.tv for self-discovery, and I will see you on the other side. Ashe.
Inshallah and Ashe, divine wills, blessings to you and for you. And if you don't know me, my name is Tonya D. I'm your go-to holistic shaman medium, otherworldly life coach, and a reflector by design, a seer of the unseen. I do go by holistic shaman medium, which is just a choreography of them all. And welcome to my virtual medicine room. Oh my goddess of the night, how was the lunar eclipse? Did you sidestep a little bit? Do your lunar eclipse in Taurus ritual? Did you create your own? Light a candle for your ancestors? Leave a few plates of food to celebrate them as well? You can still do that. Also, ask for any guidance from the other world, the unseen. The veil is thin. And were you able to set the stage for the Inspirited Walk of Fame, going into the unseen, possibly your Akashic records, the Book of Shadows, shadow records, all things of the imaginal realm? This is the birth of a new year, honoring truly what has been and blessings with what is coming. And have you noticed that I am an all or kind of nothing kind of girl? Either you get a video every day or you get nothing. The mirror really has two sides, and on the other side of the mirror, that's the ghost in the darkness, and we know we are actually in it. And it's like, are we going to win it? That there is this question. It's a radical ritual. It's a quest. And if you have yet to subscribe here on YouTube, please heartfelt do. Also, join me live to spill the tea on my online coven, if you will. Subscribe to my musing news on my website, where we can sip some cosmic brew the third Friday of each and every month. Coming to an online theater through Zoom. It's all about the elementals and the subtle energies in November. But what elemental boosts my center? You will get receive, I should say, you're going to receive a fresh email with the link through Zoom. Also coming up in person, I do have Gift and Purpose at Crohn's Hollow. And we all have a gift, and we also all have a purpose. It's unique and individual to each and every body, kind of like our energetic thumbprint. And let's welcome ourselves to the season of Pluto, the release of that powerful lunar eclipsed moon, the last one of this particular year, possibly receiving some spiritual truths, possibly giving yourself some sacred space to receive a spiritual truth. It's a spirit to soul kind of conversation, drawing the line of that inner voice inside of us. What is that inner house critic saying? It's time to really manifest a positive, optimistic, life-affirming affirmation that really is in design alignment. It's kind of the precipice of great change. I reflect often on my little 98-year young Grammy. She's seen more in her lifetime than possibly many of us, but it really is time to move forward with day-to-day life, reorganizing our life, having integrity, and really pouring the full pour of love, universal love streams. You know, love in the other world and love in this world is very different, but it always goes back to love of our own heart self and realizing that we are actually part of the oneness. And what does divine love feel like? See if you can stream into that. It possibly is like the singers of the realm, which I've talked about, or literally the oneness, God universe. So just know you're doing fantastic. It's time to love the life we're living and designing it and cleaning out the old and being in love with ourselves, basically. And get started now. We're preparing for some galactic turbulent energies. Divine love has a very different sensation, subtle etheric sensation, that the physical world love is. As a suggestion, write your own personal love list to yourself. Go deep into those crevices. Go into the ghost in the darkness where that resides. These are the little parts of ourselves that are hidden from the world to see. And Scorpio really takes us to those deep, dark places or palaces. But welcome to the weekly snippet. And if you are new to my channel, my show, This is all about the cosmic insights, the planets doing their cosmic dance, the elements of the galaxy. Along with by design, I'm always following the moon as a reflector, the lunar energies through the seasons and the gates and the signs and the houses. And we all have intuitive gifts. And if you're feeling the call to navigate yours, go ahead and take my Change Your Stars quiz to really find out your intuitive gift order or psychic ability. It's actually kind of fun, just saying. And the 4 elements, the 4 pillars of destiny, that's a different pathway in the earth realm. I actually use that for ritual part of the cowrie shell divinations. But as a reflector, I'm always asking myself, I'm very hyper aware. I'm emotionally sensitive of environments, the time, the place, the people. It's like, is this the right time, the right place? And am I with the right people in the right time or place? Where do I really heartfelt belong? And what am I seeing that nobody else can see or sense? And what's the movement? Because the moon is always ebbing and flowing, along with the solution that I'm creating within this energetic field. The key is always trusting our intuition. Change My Stars, take the quiz, especially if you're like not sure what your gift order is or which one's more highlighted. Some of them may just be otherworldly. You might be channeling spirit, light language. I mean, the out of body centers really light up a different stage of life for us, but it really is about cleansing our auric field, the etheric body, the etheric highway, and really journal with the moon through the season and the gates. I gather, that's just an idea. As I follow the lunar energies, we're really entering into the vortex, into the void of the shaman's portal. The moon herself is actually heading towards intellectualizing our feelings in Gemini, intellectualizing them. The sun is shining upon what is hidden in the ghost of that darkness. It really is setting or creating sacred space. I would actually say this feels truly like the shaman's cave. So go deep into those dark places that make you feel like you're maybe lacking boundaries. Maybe you need to initiate some. Possibly you have trust in issues. Did you rewrite your moon intentions from the solar eclipse during the lunar and kind of wash away the ones that really aren't in mind alignment? They don't resonate with your mind after you've gravitated towards them. I would say whatever your soul feels, as always. Just a few announcements, however, on the menu. I do have this Scorpio Sacred Spirit Circle meditation arrived. I thought I left it in the draft, so I had my own energetic hiccups. But of course, that's not all, folks. I just want to give a shout out and a gratitude for taking my views above 50,000. That is heartfelt. Blessings. Thank you, by the way. And are you having a lunar hangover? I often ponder the moon and the hangovers. I'm not really having one myself. I was really tuning into the degree of this full moon in Taurus. Words, the power of words, the data received, the solar plexus, and being in heart alignment. What were the messages I was channeling? And ritual. Now, ritual is truly food for our soul, and we're in the season of really connecting with the other world. The veil is thin. And do you have an ancestor altar, an altar where you can really go to and really have a heart-to-heart conversation with those that have transitioned the earth plane and now are in the heavenly universe versus the shadow one, and really invoking and using words and having a conversation with those that have really entered and are in the other world and speaking to them as if they are actually in manifested form. The world happens for us, not to us. So we kind of are kind of off on a tangent myself just there, but speaking to our ancestors is actually a key at this moment right now because the veil is so thin and they can really help us down in this earth plane. Now, I do have a new podcast episode out. Of course I do. I do them weekly. You should know that, right? This is fantastic. This is Kimberly Spencer. She actually has a channel called How to Birth a Business Aligned with Your Life. And if you don't know, I do have a new podcast episode coming out weekly, and I have been posting them on YouTube as well, plus other platforms, Musing with Tonya D. But Kimberly Spencer, Business Aligned with Your Life, I'd say this is her gift and purpose, and we all have a gift and a purpose that we bring into this world. But Kimberly also has a monthly offer called Communication Queens. So if you are launching a podcast, maybe you need some guidance, truly listen to this episode, this webisode, and connect if you feel your heart is heading in that direction. I'll also have a snippet at the end of this webisode today, so be sure to listen. And cowrie shell divination, if you don't know, my little intro there, cowrie shell divination, there we go. That's just one of my images. I guess I should update. But this is my way of speaking to the other world. I really like cowrie shell divination because it gives the person something to look at when they move the shells. I offer other one-on-one soul supports as well, just really connecting you to your magic, your medicine, and a personal prescribed ritual to get you on your way. So if your soul is at a crossroads, I do them in person at Crohn's Hollow in Salt Lake City, Utah. I also do them online through Zoom. So you have options if your soul is calling for a session. I love the shells. Totally. But you can browse my musing corridor. I do believe we are all stars on a spiritual walk of fame, and sometimes our star gets sidestepped or little twerked, or we dim our light. But I really believe it's time that we authenticate and become the star that we already are. So that's also fantastic. And of course, I do have other offerings there if your soul is calling to you. But on the elemental highway this week, we kick off the week with a yin metal rooster of a day, a Jinju. So the energy of the fall is beginning to actually lose a little bit of steam because we are on the cusp of entering the season of water, the season of winter, the yin of the yin, at least on the northern hemisphere. The southern hemisphere has as entering into the spring. But this is inner water. It's being in the flow. It's reconciling, forgiving, even surrendering. Yin metal is rooted. This is the day where friends with integrity kind of gather in that elemental shrine, I guess, community, refined words and details. It's the fine line, highly refined, focused on our goals, possibly the intentions that we kind of recalibrated during the full moon, but not just focus on them, but also kind of really achieving them, activating them. This is about taking a breath and really being in the still point, being in the pause as you analyze situations. For me, it's like, what am I seeing that nobody else can see? What am I watching? What am I observing? That's how I'm always feeling and sensing. And the spirit of water, this is the ocean on the month. It's big, it's drastic, possibly radical. Like where the water is in the year is actually in the flow. And water is what a metal day master, our yin metal day master, or yang metal actually, it's what we do. So our day is creative, it's possibly flowing a little more off the stream and not really following the leader. We do have abundance coming in, wealth, prosperity, but the rabbit and the rooster, they're actually in conflict. They're fighting. I would say the rooster's energy is a little bit more powerful than the rabbit. We've got a lot of yin metal, so we're kind of chipping away at our innovation, if you will. The rabbits produce a lot, so we're kind of chipping away. And a lot of this is really happening on the inside of us. So we're kind of analyzing situations and focusing in on a soul-ocean, soul. It's a soul gathering. And the dog is a mountain, a strong mountain, giving us resources, comforts. This may be someone outside of us that's bringing us the comforts that we need to nurture ourselves. But our day does need some kind of warmth, love, joy, kindness, even comfort. And being in the flow, peace, inner peace, and outer peace. And we do need the sun, really, seriously. The sun shines upon all of us, and this sun happens to be in the season of Scorpio. So it's shining upon what's dark, what's hidden, what needs to come out from under the bed skirts, really. The hour of the monkey, that's going to bring in a western direction, the entire western part of our home, the west. So that's helpful people, our ancestors, friends, travel, attracting mentors, philanthropists out there. It's time to really network. So I would suggest that that area of your home, you go through and you just make sure that it really remains tidy. Colors of white, gray, even silver, metals, even gold. Actually, I actually took a candle. I always leave a candle lit on my ancestor shrine. I actually carved sigils in it in runes for this particular week. I like to do that, and I was called to do that earlier. But we have this energy for a little bit, and we're going to enter the pig, which is still this area, but it's also the north. So we enter the month of the pig around the 8th of November. I'm sure I'm going to speak to that in the upcoming week here, but it's time to harvest the goods. It's all about positive, optimistic thinking, being mindful of your thoughts, elevating them, scratching out a negativity and boosting it with a new word. Scribe for yourself. And if you have a hidden secret that's been bothering you, really going to the mountain and share the issue with the earth, the big mountain. Burn things away that are no longer serving your soul or lighting up your spirit. It's like, what excites you? What blows up your skirt? The moon continues in Taurus and moves to where we intellectualize. So we're going to be intellectualizing what we're feeling and being mindful of those thoughts. We have the chance to really use this lunar energy to the fullest of its potential. Use your inspiritedness, creative energy, invoke, use words, be the joy molecules. It's a great week to just communicate with all this metal, this yin metal, and just use your voice. It's time to use our creativity, our psychic abilities, and taking a breath and a pause and a rest and really going inward and creation. The imaginal realm is also mystical empathy, but it's also creation, co-creating with creator. And then I would say, write them down, write, and scribe. So Gemini moons really intellectualize their emotions. So you may have to sit on your hands. And as a fellow Gemini moon, I don't have a Gemini moon, but I am a Gemini. So I have to like sit down and feel like sharing your thoughts. You might have to just journal them. I don't feel like anyone really listens to me when I speak up. And I'm usually just my own sounding board. I find that works better. Might be a reflectorism thing. I don't know. But energetic boundaries. This week, I brought in my witchy oracle, the Samhain oracles that I have. This really has been a ritualistic weekend, and this is about taking a breath, reflection, guidance, really just receiving those insights. It really does feel like the ghost in the darkness. So this is about our inability to receive guidance. Like it's not what we want to hear. So we kind of keep on asking the questions over and over and over on repeat. I guess I could have showed you that. So we got the message from the divination. And she is otherworldly. So that's kind of like we keep asking the same question over and over because we haven't got the memo yet or hear the message that we want to hear. We're kind of controlling that. So just understanding and learning what's kind of presented before us and how does it fit in your life, your day-to-day life? And does your heart really navigate there? Does it belong there? Like, what is your wish? What do you feel inside of you? And what does your heart really think about those words? And where do we belong in this world? What are we being? What's happening for us? This is all happening inside of us, by the way. Tuesday, we do have the broom. It's at a Saturn number. So it's time to commit and make room for something new to come our way. It's time to open up the door to a new dream, the dream that our heart can really commit to and really feels that desire. And the broom is about sweeping out all the negativity, burning stage, cleansing your home, your mind, your office, really installing that, like where do you work, your car, just sweeping away the physical and also those subtle energies and clearing out the old and really allowing and making room for like the birthing of the new stage. This really goes back to the northwest area of your home or your office or any room, any space, a bedroom, even a bathroom, really clearing and cleansing the field there, the auric field. This really is a time to really clear and clean space. That's kind of the message here, to use the broom. Possibly a cinnamon broom. I happen to have one at my front door. And then on Wizardry Wednesday, we have protection, which we're in the season of protection, but also integrity. It's like, are we out of alignment with what we are protecting? Are we forgetting to protect ourselves because we're so busy protecting things outside of us? Our safety is hidden. So this is kind of a warning signal, to be honest. It's kind of influencers around us possibly are wishing us harm or pulling the rug out from underneath us. It's a message to really protect and call in our ancestors, call in the angels, call in your spirit team, your guardians, and just returning all that negativity back to sender. Just be sure to create the sacred space, protecting yourself as you move about your day. It feels as if somebody is not in integrity alignment. So kind of be in a space or have a kind of a curious mind, a watchful eye. Just kind of pay attention to what's happening around you, for you, right? And then on Thursday, excuse me, got ahead of myself. We've got the dark moon for tantalizing Thursday. And who doesn't really love a dark moon? So this is just saying after we do all that cleansing with the broom, it's time to let go. And we can prepare for the new seeds that our heart believes in, planting some innovative seeds. There's no rush here. And really giving yourself the time and the space and just preparing, going inward for this next cycle, this upcoming season, and just letting go, releasing things that really have no longer served us or they no longer have a place in this upcoming new era. Just focusing in on honing in on a new creative project, something that really is in your heart's alignment. And don't act just yet. Just you're plowing the field, you're preparing for this to be birthed in the spring. So really allowing your imagination to blossom and go wild. Ideas maybe percolating. The best way to get over something old is to get excited about something new, birthing anew. And we then finish off this fantastic Friday, as I got ahead of myself, which I find this curious. I've actually not ever pulled this message before, but we've got the pumpkin, otherworldly, but this is about letting our inner spirit be free and also setting boundaries around what we believe. Sometimes we need to keep our beliefs in a sacred space, a sacred container to ourselves. I truly believe differently, but this is about protecting what we believe, innovating our beliefs, fertility, also prosperity. So those things are growing, but keeping them safe and protected from harm, something outside of us. And being otherworldly, the pumpkin really is offering us the ability to be a creative force. And we are capable of drawing the line, setting the stage, and really receiving wealth or drawing in wealth and joy. And just knowing that we are a vessel, you're a vessel, and holding many, if not all the things at the same time. So a lot of beautiful things and having creative power with zero limitations. So really exploring our new opportunities, new birthing opportunities. The soil and the ground is actually fertile, really exploring it. It kind of reminds me of aerating the soil, preparing it for the winter, but it's time to explore new creative insights and really tapping into that. So this is like a creative matrix, I would say, connecting to our higher selves and really being in that frequency above it all. Pay attention, look for signs that may not appear fertile. However, they're kind of oozing with this otherworldly potential. And celebrate the season, be creative. I want to give a shout out actually to all of you for loving, liking, subscribing, and really tuning into my show and my musings. I'm grateful that you have arrived. And be sure to subscribe here as well to my Musing Moon meditations along with my news for spilling the tea. This is actually a live show. It's all about the elementals and the subtle energies coming up for November. I will probably do the elementals and how I utilize those for ritual. An affirmation, I would say, really for this week is that I trust my higher self to receive those divine messages for my highest otherworldly good. So with that, I say ashe and blessings, and I'll see you on the other side, or at least next week. Ashe. Oh, and one more thing. Let me get this over here so you can watch my little snippet of my good friend Kimberly.
We lived our best life in 2020 and 2021. And even though I faced a lot of loss familially, we made the decision to stay in Australia. We were living in the Gold Coast of Australia, which, as long as you didn't leave the state, it was a very normal life. Because nobody was flying in, everybody felt very safe. And so numbers weren't skyrocketing, because I honestly think people weren't getting tested just because of being in that situation. And we lived by the beach. My son got to have a really normal childhood. We had another baby over there in a bathtub during lockdown. Like, my midwife was phenomenal. Like, it was such an amazing experience. And that was always the dream for my husband and I, was so that we could create businesses, that we could travel the world and live our best life. And we saw the experience of how Australians kind of were experiencing it. And